Good evening, good night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The Generation X proudly presents to you Clown Planet Daily Wrap Up, 10:20 p.m., September 16th, 2025. Good evening, Steve. Thank you, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch is in his house tonight. Well, good evening to you too, my buddy. Anyways, let's get right to 10:20. Again, it's late. I am sorry. It's always something family related going on. We had to go on, pretty much had to go up to North. Actually, had to go north of Mooresville today. So, had to go get something for my kid's birthday coming up Monday. So, that was and during rush hour traffic. So, it was penance to say the least. I think I left at 4 and just got back hour and 90 minutes ago. So, fun. Let's get right to it, okay? Keep you guys from staying up pulling all-nighter like I will later. Trump deploys, let's try that again, shall we? Trump deploys National Guard to Memphis, calls it a replica of his crackdown on Washington. This is 9 hours ago from 6 ABC Philadelphia. President DJT on Monday signed an order sending the National Guard into Memphis to combat crime, constituting his latest test on the reach of presidential power by using military force in American cities. Trump's announcement with Republican Tennessee Governor Bill Lee visiting the Oval Office, calling what's coming a replica of our extraordinary successful efforts in Washington, where they planted daisies, did some mulching, tilled the ground a little bit, just arrested somebody here and there, or whatever. Anyways, one thing they say in this film, this preview in the news, is they're using both the National Guard and federal troops. Now, unless those federal troops are just guarding federal buildings, I don't know how many federal buildings are in Memphis. That's a violation of Posse Comitatus, straight up. He cannot use federal agencies, federal military to police any city. In the book, period, done, move on. Washington, D.C., that's different. He can do that stuff. Now, the loophole is using in there, like I keep saying, because there's a loophole in Posse, is using the governors to bring in the National Guard. If the National Guard is ran by the governors, which they're supposed to be, they got the loophole, can work. If he's in charge, violation straight up Posse Comitatus. Cannot do that. It's that whole cheerleading thing. You can't do that, but he doesn't care. The chat is alive and well this morning. Man, I guess the longer I wait, more people. If I did this at 4 people, it'd be like 3 people wandering, looking in, going, and you hear crickets in the background. 10:20 at night. You guys are alive and well. You guys got a drink or something? If not, please send it towards me somehow. I don't know how. Use a drone. Once the future King President DJT has invited Israeli Prime Minister and war criminal Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the White House on September 29th, which will be his 4th visit as boss since Trump's inauguration 8 months ago. The boss is coming home. And I don't know if you realize this, but because he is literally war criminal, he is supposed to be arrested right when he gets off tarmac. Nobody cares. Then they use National Guard Force Brown versus Board of Education. Yeah, now I have to look that up on say exactly. I'm highly confident the governor called that in. Back in those days, the president wouldn't have been as outrageous in their overreach as they are now. The governor probably called that one in, and depending on this, for which state it was. Where was I going with that? The joke. I was joking with somebody saying, "Don't worry, Bibi's coming in town next week." I missed it. I was told I was off by a matter of days. It's going to be the week after next. He will be there. Isn't that a Monday? Let me just check that out real quick. Carry the 2. It's going to be on the 29th. Yep, Monday. The last week. I got to plug this thing in. My tracking device is almost out of battery. 29th of September is the last Monday of the month. So he's coming in right before. Netanyahu is now bragging about billions and billions of dollars that Israel is siphoning out of American big tech companies for research and development. This is the result of the deliberate policy driven by Israeli first American mega donors like Paul Singer to counter BDS by outsourcing U.S. tech jobs to its most favored nation. Now, if you don't know what's going on, this is going on right now in Jerusalem in the 50 states, one Israel. What I don't know what you would call this. Let me see if I have that photo up here. It'll come up later. I know that. I got it up there. One thing I heard Ryan Christian bring up, which was a great point, I thought, was in this conversation. And by the way, everything's linked up in the show notes. I moved the show notes to the actual website. So if people don't know about sensitivealien.com, I've had it for, I don't know, right when I got married. Yeah, 2017. A friend of mine from Google, actually, he doesn't work there anymore, bought me a website, and I got 12,000 links on it. I went nuts on everything I do. I overdo it. I go overboard in things. So, I mean, I got 2 Bibles in 2 different languages up there, Algonje in 4 different languages. Anyway, because in YouTube, you only get so many characters, 5,000 to put in the description. I was running out of room because of the links and description and using all that. So, and usually get those little 00 point, the timestamps. That helps out for people to go through, and I couldn't get those in. So I figured, yeah, why not? I'll just put it over on the website, and I'll use the other stuff for description and timestamp. Boom. So click on the link below. That'll take you to the show notes. And it's actually cool. It's actually better than that. Then you can see which ones too. Like Twitter will pop up as Twitter thing, the YouTube video. So I think it's actually a little bit better. It's a mess, but it's a bad. So anyways, so Bibi's out. They're out there doing the 50 states plus one thing. And no, what was I saying? Christian says, Ryan Christian comes out and he's doing a live show right now. And he's saying, I heard this is a threat because he's telling these guys everything they have has Israel's fingerprint or is made by people in Israel. You think of all the pager devices, all that other stuff that goes on. He goes, I see that. He goes, think of, come up with your own idea on that. But he goes, I see that as him threatening these guys, going, everything that you have, I made. And they talk about like yesterday. If you look at the show yesterday, you'll see the timestamps. Bibi planted spying detection devices in the Prime Minister UK at the time. What's his face with the hair? Obviously, the paging devices. Things like that. That Boris Johnson, he said he found listening devices in his bathroom. So he's crazy enough to do something like this. They don't call him a war criminal for none. Mass vaccinations underway and towns locked down as panic over Ebola. Pandemic crisis spreads. Health officials began rolling out mass vaccines to combat Ebola crisis that has sparked pandemic fears. The WHO said Sunday that vaccination in the Kasai province of the Dominican Republic of the Congo, the DRC, is being offered to people exposed to Ebola virus and frontline health workers. Limited number of vaccines have been rolled out in cases of Ebola, more than doubled in last week from 28 to 68. Not 28,000, 6,800, 68,000, 28 to 68. Yeah. It's like I remember back in the day when North Carolina shut down, there was actually 0 deaths, and then they lost out. They freaked out one, and not 100,000, one. Everybody lost their minds. Breaking news: Tyson to remove high fructose corn syrup from all its foods. Yay! That finally. Yeah, there's some good news. There is some good news sprinkled about it. It's everything. It's dark red pill, black pill mostly. There's some good stuff. We'll sprinkle some little good. Tyson's feeding you life, family. After they blow up a couple Tyson farms and chickens, and the chicken prices go up, and then they make you some kind of fake chicken, and the eggs might be a little bit different, and then this is going to have some poison in it. But hey, we're getting rid of the high fructose corn syrup. I'm fine with that. Hey, that's good news. The rest, grow your own chickens, raise your own chickens. JD Vance, JD Thiel, if you're nasty. No unity with groups that wanted conservatives dead. Hey, I got an idea for you, Mr. Thiel, Mr. Vance. Divorce from CDC. That's the easiest solution. That's what MTG was calling for yesterday. That's you don't want it. If there's no unity with bad groups, then let's just have a divorce. I'm done. It was nice to be in your association. It was fun while it lasted. We're going this way. You go this way. Bye-bye. Put a wall up. Fine. I don't care. Dude, break up. Somebody has to break up. Everyone else breaks up over everything else. To break up the no-fault divorces all over the place. How come we can't get out of a dysfunctional marriage like this? And no, I'm not pro-divorce on anything except for divorcing from any union. This is a voluntary union. If it's not voluntary, then it's not freedom. CDC advisors to vote on 3 jabs. What to know? Advisors at the CDC are scheduled to meet on September 18th and 19th to consider changes to recommendations for tres vaccinaciones. What was it? I saw measles, mumps and rubella, and varicella MMRV jabs. They have B's in there too. Palantir's candidate, you doggone right. And it's one thing, I see all these Catholics throwing out, I can't wait, I'm going to vote for JD and all these other guys, just because he was he took over Charlie's TV show, took over the other day. Yeah, and anybody neighbors don't see anything, but the state just took over a podcast. Nope. Imagine Obama doing that. We would have lost our minds. We would have called it proud of the 21st century. Neolist violent extremism spreads. FBI's Patel confirmed 1,700 domestic terrorism cases being investigated. And when Patel opens his mouth, you can trust he's truthful. Every time Patel opens his mouth, I'm scared that something's going to come out going, oh boy, what is he going to say now? I got some Zoomers for you in a little bit. Did I just say KKK? What did I saw something crazy down here. Well, I guess not. Must have been my eyes. News anchor resigns after being suspended over on-air Charlie Kirk tribute. WICS ABC 20 News anchor in Springfield, Illinois, has announced that she is resigning from her position after her employer suspended her for paying tribute to Charlie Kirk on air. Sorry, I forgot to take off the Palantir thing. Sorry. Benny Harmony paid an impassioned tribute to Kirk, whom she knew personally, during a September 12th segment on ABC 20's Marketplace program. I want you to know that it's okay if you feel sadness. It's okay if you're grieving. I believe I'm the first to be targeted for honoring him on air. Effective immediately, I've resigned from ABC 20 after being suspended for airing a nonpartisan tribute to Charlie Kirk this past Friday. Apparently, you're not allowed to be a human on any kind of TV. Only if you're only allowed to do the 3.5 card, the 3x5 card. That's it. Charlie Kirk murder suspect wears anti-suicide vest for first court hearing. They are going to Epstein this guy sometime soon. It's reading like Epstein again, in a sense. Tyler Robinson, 22, wore a green sleeveless vest designed to prevent him from taking his own life. Jeffrey's in the corner. He's raising his hand saying, I got some questions about that. As a judge reeled off charges against Mr. Robinson, he stared impassionately ahead, speaking only to confirm his own name. Mr. Robinson is charged with murdering the Republican podcaster and top Trump ally by firing a single bullet from a rooftop 130 meters from where he was hosting a debate at Utah Valley University last week. Jeff Gray, Utah Attorney General, earlier said Mr. Robinson admitted shooting Kirk in the text exchange with his trans partner and roommate, and that investigators have uncovered his DNA from the murder weapon, which is also found on the screwdriver that's on top of the building, which apparently he used the screwdriver to reassemble the weapon and then went back to the building to put the screwdriver on top of the building. The craziness is so all over the place. I have no idea what anything is anymore. He says, he said today no one was trafficking to Epstein himself, which technically would be trafficking. Yeah, I got that. Don't worry, that's coming up soon too. Charlie Kirk shooter suspect Tyler Robinson charged with murder. Prosecutors seek the death penalty because they're going to kill this kid before he ever gets to open his mouth and tell everyone, hey, this is what really happened. Appeared in court today for the first time after being arrested on suspicion of fatally shooting the conservative activist on September 10th. Just to let you know, you might have, it's kind of like I guess, technicality. He has not admitted it at all anywhere. Out, the only thing you've heard is the FBI saying there was some kind of sheet, or there's been some text messages on Discord, or whatever they came up today. Don't worry, we'll get to it. He has not said I did it at all. Apparently, he hasn't said anything. He's been keeping his mouth shut. But again, there's so I don't know if they're trying to scare him into saying anything or what. Here's the Charlie Kirk suspect. Tyler Robinson makes stony-faced first court appearances as he's charged with capital murder. File murder charges Robinson for the heinous murder of Kirk on Tuesday afternoon. Robinson allegedly shot and killed Kirk last week at Utah Valley University in a targeted political attack to shock the world. Suspect left notes saying he planned to kill Charlie Kirk, later confessed in text. Prosecutor says that's not exactly a confession thrown in there, but okay. Prosecutors has brought in murder charge Tuesday against the man. I'm trying to find stuff that we haven't read already, and I'm going to take it. Where's it at? Authorities have not revealed a clear motive for the shooting, but Gray said that Robinson wrote in a text about Kirk to his partner, "I've had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out." Robinson also left a note for his partner hidden under the keyboard that said, "I had the opportunity to take out Kirk, and I'm going to take it," according to Gray, because apparently people hide messages under keyboards now. Suspect left note under plan to kill Kirk, later confiscated in text, prosecutor said. Is that the same thing? Yeah, it's the same thing. Here's Benny Johnson, cheerleader Benny Johnson, breaking. Utah, everything's breaking to Benny. He'd go to the bathroom. He's going to put breaking. Utah County DA reads the full text message exchange between Charlie Kirk's assassin and his transgender boyfriend roommate after committing the murder. Now, before you go on with this, think about this. This happened last Tuesday, a week ago now, and they apparently just found this. So I told someone, I can't remember, someone wrote on Twitter how it sounded kind of scripted. And I go, "You darn right, it's scripted. They just edited 10 minutes, 2 hours ago." No, drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard. Roommate, you're joking, right? Robinson. I'm still okay, my love. Shouldn't be long until I come home, but gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. You can see AI writing this. You weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, because when you text somebody, you usually say I am, back to back. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? I've had enough of his hate. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. So according to that, he jumps off the roof after disassembling a rifle, goes into the woods, reassembles the rifle, leaves it wrapped up. Again, the screwdriver needed is back on top of the roof now with his DNA on it. So I don't know how it got back on the roof. Did he throw it? I don't know. Drops the ammo there and then takes off. Why would you just take off and not reassemble the weapon? What? Okay, go back to the I want to say the fictional reading story time hour. Why did I do it? We already saw that. How long have you been planning this? Said roommate. Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can't get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they've already swept that spot. I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK, if it had a serial number. I don't know. I'm not good with those, the abbreviations and the cool kids texting wise, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. I might have to abandon it. Hope that this is reading not too hooked on phonics for me. What? Over a week. So over a week, he was planning this out for over a week. Comes out with the idea that he's going to fire a sniper-like action with two patsies in there, jump off the thing, had this whole thing planned out and got away. First shooter, by the way, to get away with anything. And he planned it in a week. Man, you know what the experts say? Not possible. How the blank will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I have left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how he was engraving bullets? The blank in the messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really stinks. Judging from today, I say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think it was a $2,000 scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo to of the rifle and is very unique. He's calling me RN, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad's been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about. Love. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If the police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Well, there you go. Hello, my fellow transgender confidant. How do you do? They continue to insult our intelligence. Yeah, there was a couple of people that said that. They really think we are stupid. And the funny thing is people are going to just believe that. You just said it. I don't know. IDK. I made up a story with Death. Who knows? He told his friends. Yeah, I guess you could believe that if you want. Armed queers. That wasn't on my bingo card. Marxist revolutionaries under investigation for possible foreknowledge of Kirk's assassination plot. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said Monday that Kirk's accused assassin Taylor Robinson, described by some as a radical left Antifa adjacent creep and a radicalized transgender partner, may have aided and abetted by an extended network. Remember, they used to say it was a lone gunman. Now it's dozens. Hey guys, I've been new. I was all right. I'm sorry for this. Okay, you already read all that. So they have no really updates on all this. State Department and UN ties to armed queers. SLC leader now confirmed. Yeah. Believe. Hey, let's get. We interrupt this program for Robert Redford, screen idol, turned director and activist, dies at 89 today. He made serious topics of grief and political corruption resonate with all the masses, in no small part because of his own star power. He will always be remembered for the baseball movie. I just went stupid. Trump sues the New York Times for articles questioning his success. The lawsuit filed by the president in federal courts on Friday claims the Times defamed him and sought to undermine his campaign in the 2024 election or selection. Once the future King President DJT accused the New York Times and 4 of its reporters for defaming him ahead of the 2024 election, claiming that a series of articles sought to undermine his candidacy and disparage his reputation as a successful businessman. In a lawsuit filed on Monday in the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida, Mr. Trump said the articles in the book published by 2 of his journalists were specifically designed to try and damage President Trump's business, personal, and political reputation. Don't worry. If those Epstein files are... Did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry. He already got that taken care of. Here's Phil Lyman, Utah State Representative, on with Steve Bannon. I stopped in the doorway, heard the chaos, and asked if it was a gunshot. I walked over to 2 girls watching the crowd scatter. One said something not too kind. I asked, did that shot come from over there? She said, yeah, right over there. They weren't ducking or afraid. Why not? Later, reviewing video, it felt out of place. Some groups didn't react, almost like they knew stuff isn't adding up. Here's that one. The This is what I was looking for earlier. The 50 states under Israel. 250 of your favorite Congress critters out there in Israel, yucking it up, getting their propaganda page, marching orders from working with baby Netanyahu and others as you have been infiltrated by a foreign allegiance. And they're all traitors. And I don't know what to say about that on the traitors. Oh, forgot. Speaking of traitors, let me get the war crime news. U.S. bombs another boat near Venezuela. Talked about that yesterday. Rubio, the diplomacy in Gaza may not be possible. Trump spoke with Netanyahu before Qatar bombing. No kidding. We all do that. Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon killed 2. North Korea denounces U.S. nuclear war games. Trump says deal to buy TikTok from China is close. And then Trump will, ban TikTok probably. U.S. bombs Somalia for 77th time in U.S. Hey, we're breaking those records, baby. Give him that Peace Prize already. Warsaw seeks, what does he have to do? Get to 100? Warsaw seeks NATO back in for Ukraine. No-fly zone. All right, I'll play this. I'll put the audio on this one. Here's a well, you can see it. I'm trying to find a button and hit the right button at the same time. And I can't do all that because I'm not that bright.
There's something to this story that just does not add up.
What's the actual difficulty of this shot?
As my assessment as a SEAL commander is that's a professional hit. If he was a lone gunman, which is extremely unlikely, then he had one hell of a lucky shot.
And remember, the guy said he just came up with this idea last week, according to that typed up email or text list or whatever.
Probably less than 5% chance of it happening. Generally speaking, sniping is a two-person job. You have the spotter and then you have the sniper. And the spotter is the one who's basically getting the lay of the land, checking the windage, elevation, any other things that could come in between and giving a signal. Okay, this is good. This is your window. It's much more likely that he was acting in concert. He had paid supporters. There was training involved. And then they said there were a couple of decoys in the audience, which would be to slow down the response.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's just a bunch of kids, sitting around, right, the coop saying, "Yay, he's going to go get Charlie today." No, there's something more insidious going on
here. And again, that link's in the show. I'll end up watching the full one later. The full one's underneath. If you get the link, where is it at? There it is. If you look underneath, I got this one, the main one right there. If you scroll down, there's the full interview right there. It's about an hour, a little bit long. And who is Mark Devine, former retired Navy SEAL commander, Mark Devine, yes, Navy SEAL, yeah. So a guy that isn't an idiot when it comes to stuff like this. And he's not the only one I've heard say it. The only ones I've heard say that it's a piece of cake, easy shot are Twitter guys, Twitter bros, Twitter guys online that pretty much act like they're James Bond online or big bad, what's online. And I really don't think they would act like that in real life. Those guys are the ones saying how easy a shot has been. Now that's, they got calluses on the fingers from tweeting all day long, but they say it's easy. Everybody that's older than them and professional in a sense in military has said this has been something else. I don't know who I should trust. Should I trust the tech bros? You tell me. Put a poll right by a show of hands. Should the guys that the talking heads and other shows tell me that that's easy for them and the Navy SEAL guy is an idiot? Maybe. The Daily Wire has taken over the Charlie Kirk show. Again, yesterday we had JD Vance of the federal government taking over the Charlie Kirk show. And now 4 guys who love Israel beyond anybody else's mindset is now taking over the Charlie Kirk show. Now wait, if Ben Shapiro takes over as the main guy for Charlie Kirk show, the fix was in. Trump threatens ABC's John Carl to his face amid grilling on hate speech crackdown. He ends up really going after him. Very Lincoln-like of him, by the way. Surprised they didn't throw him in jail. The MAGA crackdown on free speech, the American rights hypocrisy over Charlie Kirk is frightening. And there is a ton of that. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Well, everyone upset that was Office Depot is not making the thing. Oh, you will make it. Goes back to the cake guy, the LGBT guys. You will bake that cake. Now, stop back then. The right was like, the fake right was like, no, he's got the freedom not to make the cake. Now that same group is going, oh, throw that guy in jail, cancel. It's remember we talked about swap. We have swap. Now the other team is doing that. Don't worry, it'll get terrible down the road. JD Vance, 2028 president. Peter Thiel is the head of communications. Yeah. My prediction, I think I brought this up last week on this Clown Planet, but also I definitely know I did it on News from the Pew. I think Trump's got another year, maybe, and then you're going to have 10 years of JD Thiel as the head leader. I'm trying to say the right words and not go, hey, look at him saying this. Well, it's going to get bad in the next decade. Attorney explains your rights to free speech as an employee after firings following Charlie Kirk killing. Civil rights attorney explains your right to free speech as an employee in the workforce. Now, again, if you get fired by your boss because you do something stupid, that's different. If people are going out of the way to, dox people, which a lot of quote unquote our team guys are out there doxing people and saying it's, go get that guy, go get that guy, go get that guy. Like, I thought you guys were against that. Now all of a sudden it's the in thing to do. Texas Tech student Greg Abbott, blasted for mocking Charlie Kirk, is jailed, no longer enrolled. So now you can pay money to a university that gets a ton of money from the government, hence why the price is all jacked up. You have to pretty much take out a loan that you'll never pay until you die 30 times to get it back, and you can get kicked out of that said school. Probably still have to pay the money back for saying anything, I guess. Not saying whatever he said is I'm all for. Don't know what he said. Texas Tech declined to say Monday why its police officers arrested a student who was filmed in a heated exchange at the vigil of Charlie. It must be that one dude that I saw the video of that was mocking even like how he got killed, which again is a sick person, sick and not a funny joke. But to arrest him for it, I think we're going a little overboard on that. This is a really good 19 minutes. This is George Galloway. If you don't get to say it's anti-Semitic to question whether Israel had a hand in the assassination, Kirk, like Tucker Carlson, was turning away from Israel and Zionism. Very good. He brings up a lot of great points in this. And again, like a lot of people have said, do we have evidence for it 100%? No one has any hardcore evidence. But as he brings up in here, they had the motive, they had the ability, and they had to know how to do it. There's a lot of connections to do it for them to do it. Now, you can't have all the evidence. There's no hardcore, there's no smoking gun. But if you think about it, you can really figure it out. Pam Bondi's ridiculous 24 hours. It has not been a good 24 for Pam Epstein folder Bondi, the Attorney General of the U.S. Yesterday on the Katie Miller podcast. Bondi said, "We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech." Actually, she won't target or go after anyone for hate speech because legally there is no such thing as hate speech in the United States. And because as the government employee, she is bound by the First Amendment. Yeah. And if she tries it anyway, the Supreme Court will side against her 9-0. Bondi continued, there's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there's no place, especially now, especially what happened to Charlie. Actually, and funny thing is, Kirk would say the opposite. It's like, you don't have the right for that. Bondi told Sean Hannity, employers, you have the obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. And if you want to go in and print posters of Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. Again, no such obligation exists. A business can't get rid of an employee for saying ugly things, or in this case, for refusing to do their job for which they've been hired, but it does not have to. Moreover, in this particular circumstance, the business absolutely can discriminate. Again, you ever seen that sign? No shoes, no shirt, no service. Bondi said, if you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. Neither of those things are true. If Office Depot had declined the request because the customer had white skin, that would be illegal. But printing is an expression, and private companies are thoroughly within their rights to decline to accept the commission that applies to them that in that expression. Again, it's just common sense, but we have lost our ever-living minds, and the fake right is going to pretty much do everything that people were upset about before. There's Last American Vagabond here. It goes, this is worth revisiting for those who are only just seeing it, all. This has been building for some time across numerous left and right administrations. This is Trump in 2015 on the left. Then again on 2025, saying stupid people when speaking about those who are on the about how of his below suggestions are unquestionably unconstitutional. He talks about those are stupid people that are talking about free speech. Those are just like literal words. Sotomayor rebukes calls to criminalize free speech and apparent swipe at Pam Bondi. McFrantes had a great piece, great points too, and Candace on war. Yeah, I hope Candace burns the village down. If it was me, if someone close to me, like if I was her, and say a really good friend of mine was Kirk, and that just happened, where if I was in the position of Candace, I wouldn't even warn him. I would have done it. Yeah, here's what's everything going on. Shine the light on the truth. Here's what's going on. Say it one time. This is like Chrysostom that brings up, talks about defending your name. Say it one time and then afterwards let it go. But I know someone's might get at me. Oh, you can't use Chrysostom. I'm not saying that's exactly the same. Here's the truth on it, and be gone with it afterwards. Here's Dave DeCamp of antiwar.com. Did you know we don't have to fund a military that does this? From Antiwar, Israeli sniper details killing Palestinians, including children, waiting for aid. The sniper said commanders would order him to fire on unarmed Palestinians. By the way, they specialize in tapping the head and the neck. 8 police officers break into Scottish woman's house over a Facebook post. They charged her with a hate crime. Don't worry, this will probably come into an area near you in the not so distant future when they start putting out anti-tweets laws and things like that. Kash Patel says there's no credible info Epstein trafficked young women to others. FBI Director Kash Patel told U.S. senators on Tuesday morning that there is no credible information in case files that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked young women to anyone other than himself. Also, yesterday, Kash said there's a message, like a manifesto, that the shooter put together, but it doesn't exist because it was destroyed and it was done beforehand. They don't have it, but they saw it. They said they have evidence for it, but they didn't see it, but it's there. So take Patel's words with a grain of salt, I guess. 60 violations in 50 days inside ICE's giant tent facility in Fort Bliss. While the first immigrants arrived in new detention quarters at a Texas military base this summer, they were marched to an active construction site. Excavators raced to build a tent cabinet where development had begun just 2 weeks earlier and would go on for months. Something's playing in the background. I don't know what it is. Don't see the thing. Oh, there it is. We'll stop that. Sorry. That'll bug me for a while trying to figure out where it is. Here's the deal. We don't believe you. Yeah, exactly. The detention center at Fort Bliss, called Camp East Montana, failed to properly monitor and treat some detainees' medical conditions, lacked basic procedures for keeping guards and detainees safe, and for weeks did not provide many of them of a way to contact lawyers, learn about their cases, or file complaints, according to a copy of the inspection report obtained by the Washington Compost. Expected to hold up to 2,700 migrants at a time this month, as many as 5,000 by the end of the year. Officials have publicly described Camp East Montana as a prototype for the new breed of large-scale holding facilities that will help ICE achieve its goal of doubling the nation's detention capacity by the end of the year. Dearborn Muslim mayor unleashes on Christian resident at city meeting. You are not welcome here. Tells resident the day you move out of the city will be the day I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city. I'm not a fan of the Muslim ideas on it, but that's if we had the guts to say that to others like that, I think we'd have a lot where we'd be in a better position in a sense. That's a funny line. That's a good line, I guess. It seems very provocative. They have these signs up here. Burham says, pointing to prior remarks of Osama Stiblani, editor of the Arab American News. It's almost like having maybe a street, that Hezbollah street or Hamas street. Hezbollah bombed the embassy in Beirut, including many Americans, so I just feel like it's quite inappropriate. Hamad Mood didn't hesitate in attacking Barham, blasting his constituent as an Islamophobe, WJBK reports. Although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcomed here. We already said this. Siblani, a close confidant, the governor Gretchen Whitmer, who lied about being kidnapped and all that, who recently accompanied her on an overseas mission to the UAE, established the Arab American News in 1984 and was recognized last week as an honorary street signs along Warren Avenue at intersections with Chase and Schaffer during the ceremony attended by many public officials. Again, this goes back to I don't live in that area, so if California does something dumb, I don't care. That's California problem. Again, you live in Dearborn, this is on you guys. Go either convert these people from that area. It's a good idea to start planting miraculous medals around their mosque. I used to do that all the time back in Denver. And how many did I do that in Denver? About 6 or 7 of them. Charlotte, I did a few. Upstate of South Carolina, did a couple. I don't know. It's a little minor thing, but it's better than doing nothing. Grocery prices spiked to highest level in 3 years and major blow to Trump. Grocery bills are climbing, and it's not just imagination, once again, running away from me. A new report reveals a surge in food prices, leaving many Americans feeling the pinch. And unless you are, unless you're pulling in, like if you turn on the air conditioner and it spits out $100 bills throughout the day, you know what we're talking about. It hurts going to the grocery. Even I gross food and it still hurts because obviously you can't grow everything. And there's still stuff you can. I don't have toilet paper or I don't have paper towels in the bag that I can make. If I had a bunch of Mullen, which is also called cowboy toilet paper, that would work. I would have to grow a ton just to show, because it doesn't really grow that fast. So if you have to go to, if you have say like you have 7 people living in your home, it doesn't exactly, you'd go through a plant in pretty much an hour. Anyways, 44 of the biggest 50 metros are flashing a grave warning that the house price crash is next. Housing markets across the U.S. are showing signs of trouble as homes linger on the market longer than 44 out of 50 major U.S. metros. Across the country, a typical home spent 60 days on the market in August, 7 days longer than a year ago and above pre-pandemic levels, according to a new Realtor.com report. There's homes I've seen been up for, months. And they're building and building and building and building and building and building more. Who will replace Charlie Kirk? Trump's MAGA is placing bets. So do they have odds or something? People were discussing if Nick Fuentes or Ben Shapiro will replace Kirk. What do you thought? I personally don't think he can completely be replaced. Senator Bouchet said the former college swimmer Riley Gaines or Representative Anna Paulina Luna are his top choices. 2 girls, huh? And Riley, she went from someone that was like, hey, you're doing good for what you're doing, to becoming she's a pom-pom cheerleader too now. Several people are pointing to right-leaning political commentator Candace Owens, who has a history of making controversial claims about Jewish people and others. She's got her own thing. That's not it. One user argued that Fuentes, a far-right activist, seems more like the antithesis of Kirk, pretty much. I don't know much about him, but I don't know much about either of those guys. No one can take place. No one can be another someone like that. There's always going to be. You can't replace most people like that. George Zinn, elderly rabble rouser who falsely claimed he shot Charlie Kirk, is hit with child porn charges. The elderly rabble rouser who alleged hindered Utah representative authorities' response after Kirk was fatally shot is now accused of keeping graphic sexual photos of children on his phone, according to law enforcement. George Zinn, 71, was charged with 4 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor Monday after investigators found more than 20 images of kids as young as 5 years old or partially naked and posing in a way. Not really surprised, but New York judge tosses terrorism charges against Luigi Maglione. Lets murder count stand, and outside, I guess people were cheering in the streets. If you don't remember, he's the one that shot the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. Israel says Gaza is burning as it launches ground assaults. Israel launches the start of a long-awaited ground operation in Gaza City on Tuesday, declaring Gaza's burning. Again, I'm just going to cancel that out. And we're out there. Sorry about that. What's up with Peter Thiel's obsession with the Antichrist? His lectures are going on right now. That's why this is coming up. The tech mogul is amping up his apocalyptic rhetoric and adding a dangerous dose of extremism into his already fraught culture war. If anybody has any video of that, send them over. I haven't seen. Old media doesn't even have them. I don't know if anybody's even videoing this stuff. Protesters rally outside Thiel's Antichrist lecture in San Francisco. Why are so many Americans moving to Portugal apart from the obvious reasons? I'm trying to figure out what is the obvious reason. Vietnam and Albania have their fans. Some Americans might even join the UK, but there's a lot to be said for the country. Universally accessible healthcare and freedom of movement within the EU. Portugal, founded 882 years ago. Appearance incredibly desirable if you're American, but I'm not American. Oh, well, it's still pretty good. You just don't want to live there as much as Americans do. Okay. I don't understand. Why would Americans want to leave the U.S.? I'm going to give you a couple of moments to go and read the news. Come back when you're ready. Oh, God, this place is a mess. So you know now, if you were a U.S. dwelling American in the year 2025, there's a good chance that you would also want to immigrate. But why Portugal specifically? A company that helps Americans move abroad published the results of a test that matches users to various countries, and Portugal came out on top. Should I take the test? Not really. The first question is, why do you want to move abroad? And one of the answers is to avoid the threat of gun violence. So let's assume it's pretty U.S.-centric. Again, why Portugal? Well, it ranks 7th in the Global Peace Index 2024, while the U.S. comes in 128th, sandwiched between Kenya and Ecuador. Now, if you broke those up into states, I wonder what that would look like. You know what I mean? If you bring a whole, I mean, the entire from side to side, from coast to coast, is Ecuador is the size what? Georgia? So I doubt the state of Georgia would be 128. Just as an idea. Illinois might because of Chicago. Let's see. Last year was 89 murders in the entire country compared to 16,935 in the U.S. Again, if you break that off centralization idea and goes into state by state, what would that look like? I don't think there's some states that have 89 murders. Wow, I'm sold. But there are so many options. Second and third on the expats list were Spain and Italy, while 4th and 5th were Canada and Mexico. I'm starting to think Trump wants to build walls there. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right. Scientists say they found the world's oldest mummies, and they're far from Egypt. Human remains found in tight, crunched postures at pre-Neolithic burial sites in China and Southeast Asia appear to have been smoke-dried over fire, a new study says. China intercepted meteor or UFO, or they don't have a clue, as fireball streaks over a sky before exploding. Footage of an explosion in the sky above China's Shandong province has fueled speculation of Beijing authorities ordered the shooting down of either a meteor or UFO. I'm going to wager if anybody wants a meteor to fight a narcos. Mexico tries a new approach, a song contest. Huh? Alex Moreno stepped into the spotlight, a half dozen mariachis and silver and black sombreros behind him, and brought the microphone to his lips. We don't want to sing anymore about your poison war with verses and rhymes that lead innocent children to believe your lies, he crooned in Spanish over the blare of horns and violins. The anti-coronado written by Moreno is performed before a panel of judges in a Mexico City television studio would not have been out of place on American Idol, the Eurovision Song Contest, or The Voice. So I guess they're trying to fight that with singing. Circumcision has then declined. Why fewer U.S. parents are heeding recommendation by doctors. Rate fell from 54% to 49% in 2022. White families saw the sharpest drop, while Black and Hispanic rates stayed steady. Wealthier and privately insured families had higher rates, but also bigger declines. Researchers point to skepticism toward medicine and Hispanic population growth as popular factors. AI is now claiming to be God. Isn't that nice? Greetings, my child. A slew of religious smartphone apps are allowing untold millions of users to confess to AI chatbots, some of which are claim to be channeling God himself. All righty then. Drone is neutralized over Poland's presidential palace and latest provocation following Russian airspace intrusion and tough stance with Putin. Don't worry, we're just leading up to World War III. Nothing to see here. Oh, I forgot about this. MTG was putting this out. There was a seminar in D.C. on the weather, manipulation of weather, playing God with the weather, a disastrous forecast, and MTG was retweeting it all over. It actually happened in D.C., so a little good news from things up there before it shuts down. This day in history before tomorrow shows up. Mayflower departure for America, 1620. This day in 1620, English colonists aboard the Mayflower set sail for America, where they founded Plymouth, Massachusetts, after 41 men, including William Bradford and Miles Standish, signed the Mayflower Compact. The death of Gina Amali, an Iranian woman in her early 20s who was in custody of Iran's morality policy for improper clothing, ignited a sustained widespread protest movement which adapted the slogan, Women, Life, Freedom. I have no clue who she is. 2022, she died today. American dramatist Edward Albee, a native writer of raw, stringent plays, who perhaps best known for his Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, died at age 88 today in 2016. Again, no clue. The Basque separatist organization ETA announced its indefinite ceasefire after 30 years of terrorist guerrilla attacks in Spain that were blamed for 800 deaths, 1988. In 1993, the sitcom Frasier, a spinoff of Cheers starring Kelsey Grammer, debuted on NBC. 1978, Mohammed Zia-ul-Haq was proclaimed president of Pakistan. 1977, American-born Greek opera soprano Maria Callas died in Paris at age 53. Papua New Guinea achieved full independence from Australia today in 1975. Yay for every secession movement. Can we declare independence from our DC? King Hassan of Jordan declared martial law following the hijacking of 4 international airliners by the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine in 1970. U.S. Congress granted a national charter to the American Legion and an organization of U.S. war veterans in 1919. It played for American Legion Post 28 back in Spartanburg. The local revolt in Mexico was sparked by Miguel Hidalgo y Castilla, a parish priest in Dolores, who uttered the Grito de Dolores, cry of Dolores, calling for the end of rule by Spanish peninsulars, for equality of races and the redistribution of land today in 1810. In 1380, Charles V, who was king of France from 1364 and led the country in a miraculous recovery from the devastation of the first phase of the 100 Years' War, 1337 to 1453, died at age 42, because you knew that was coming, didn't you? Good night, game over, drive home safely. Censusvidilium.tv. Check it out for the app. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, please. Comment underneath. It's 11:14 p.m. I'm going to get some stuff done before I go to bed, before it becomes 2 p.m. Have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow. God bless you.